Oh, would you look at that, Toby? Would you just look at it? It rained again. Huh. Looks like just a dust settler, but still probably will be about noon or so till we can do anything. I don't think it's supposed to rain anymore. Come on, little son. You can do it. Brody's upstairs sleeping. He was running late, and we were supposed to get up early and go planting, but I texted him and said, just keep sleeping, buddy. Just keep sleeping. So, as you know, our 50-foot door here got absolutely destroyed by the second tornado or straight line winds. I don't know what it was, but I do know trees were laying on the upside of the wind, so that kind of tells me it was a tornado. So actually what they did here, they came out and it looked like it was way worse than it probably was, but all it did was kink this bottom bar here. Kink that in. So power lift came out, they cut the bottom of the door off and had a new truss, and they welded in a new truss here to straighten the door. Looks great, honestly. Now the guys that built the building will come back, screw the bottom of the tin on, and we're actually going to put wainscot on the inside. Here, I'll show you that. So they came out a couple days before they came and actually welded in a new truss. So this is where they cut it off, and then they welded this piece in new. So we're gonna put wainscot here because they had to have access inside the door, obviously, to cut, torch, and weld so we wouldn't have a fire, and they could actually get in there and work nice. So we're gonna do somewhat of a color, kind of like on the outside, I think a gray color here for a wainscot to make it look like it never happened. And it might be a nice accent wall. So we did actually pull the plug on corn. We did not get our corn planted. We got enough to get our contracts done. We did get 80% of it planted, but we are going to be planting soybeans into that now if we can drive out there. A couple of the farms probably won't be getting planted, but I'm very happy to know how much we have gotten done, because there for a while it was starting to look like we weren't going to get nothing done. So very fortunate we have been able to do what we've been doing. Whether it's been done good or correctly, I can guarantee you no. It's all been mudded in, but salvage mission. It's a salvage mission. Where did you disappear to?
Trying to grease the bobcat.
Oh, okay. Sniff him out, Toby. You go get him. Sniff him out. Eat him. Eat him. Well, there he is. Servicing. Good thing it rains so we can service everything.
See this grease tip and how much grease is on my grease rag, and
it looks as if it might be shot.
I wonder if we own any new ones. How many, you know that one that holds itself on desserts?
Yeah, the lock and loop?
Yeah, I like that one. It doesn't leak as bad, but it's so hard on my pump. Oh, what a mess.
You know, I hate to point this out on camera, but that nose hair.
Oh boy, not again.
Can I get it for you?
Nope.
Yeah, well,
you're standing
under
on something that might kill you.
It's a 2-incher.
No, it isn't.
Look at that.
Why is that?
It's busted all the way from up here.
How's the other side?
Fine. Big Bob's got some torque. You gotta bring her in, lay a bead, lay a snail trail. Brody!
So I'm greasing outside when I could have been inside?
Yeah. It's so nice and humid, cold.
It ain't the warmest. It is not the warmest, I say.
Got that in here. We're gonna have to lay a bead on there. Don't really know why that broke, but I also don't know what the guys are doing to it out in the field, so it's what it is. This thing, since it's raining, we're gonna put a hopper bottom on it. We got corn that needs to be hauled. Somewhat quite urgently, because contract needs to be delivered in June. Number 2, we got bend roofs with no top on them, so we got to get the corn out of them before that goes rotten. So we're gonna hook Big Black here up to the other triple axle trailer. She won't be a 7-axle, but it's the truck on the corn seed tender. We won't be using this anymore, so we can unhook it and get it trucking corn. Oh man, the chopping is unbelievable on this truck. Probably should have something aligned here. This is terrible. All right, this trailer can't have that poly slick plate on. We've got 2 trailers that it cannot be on. So this pin, we found this out later after we put it on. There's different length pins here that it hooks up to. Well, unfortunately this one has the short one, so does our Wilson trailer. So to hook them up, you cannot have the poly. It's only like this thick, but it still is enough that it won't hook up. So we just put grease on it, slam her together, put the poly on for the rest of the trailers. It's not that big of a deal. I think it's like 6 bolts or something, and put it on. All right, we got the poly back on. You realize you got no mud flaps on this truck?
Mm-hmm.
Remember that day?
There was a situation.
You know,
Hard to
I
have
thought
nice things.
this trailer loves to eat mud flaps, but I thought we eliminated that problem. And then I was thinking the other day, I remember how we eliminated that problem, but yet forgot when we hooked up. You want to see? I remembered why this zip tie lays. Zip tie.
Zip tie.
The
That is
bungee
a
strap
big
lays right there because we hooked to that mesh
one. The little feet.
and to the feet and fold them back, and we never did that, and it hooked and ripped them off. Ripped them off! Junk! It's junk.
I know where they lay. I can fix them.
We should have like a to-do list for everything. Hook bungee straps to mud flap or to feet so mud flaps don't get ripped off.
It's too much.
Too much to remember, that's for sure.
I have some small child with a big brain to put stuff away. Just follow us around and put it back. What is this, 9/16?
No, that was a 10 millimeter.
Well, it's in the 9/16 spot. I gotta go wash.
This little thing, what do you think of this?
That's powerful.
Got this at Acme. It's a
It's a
impact
go-go.
gun. It
Go-go.
don't have very much torque, but it's used in many things.
Where'd my coffee
Some
go?
places and activities, and I'll just quit talking now. So it has been years since we've had Big Black here hooked up to a triple axle trailer. We used to pull it with it all the time, but then we got a triple axle or a pusher axle on our trucks and wanted to haul more weight, which ideally that's what we would have hooked up to this thing. But I have that hooked up to my water trailer, which also they get very heavy, and that truck is still being used, and I don't want to unhook multiple units, so we're just going to use this truck. It'll be fine. Come on, are we hooked up? We're good. Well, the manure was dry till the tornado come through and ripped the cover off, and the
Who do you call to find out if it really was a tornado?
I don't
Who
know.
do you call? Somebody must know.
Well, it was
Somebody-
for sure extreme straight line winds. But like I said earlier in this video, is it was strange that there was tree branches upwind from where the wind was coming from, which somewhat would make sense. It was somewhat of a tornado, huh?
Maybe. I wonder if there actually isn't more tornadoes going on around the area than what they think. Or admit.
You know, how would you know if they're tornadoes when you're hiding in the basement, scared for your life?
Yeah, I don't know. But you never ever hear. Nobody ever calls you up and says, there was a tornado that passed by 1/8 of a mile away from your house. You should give thanks.
That's because you're underneath the blankets, hiding in your bed in the basement.
In that special padded room.
You're
Yeah.
in that place a lot, aren't you?
It's not been good. I haven't even gotten time to drive around and see if my corn planter did what it was supposed to do. I haven't seen no big ugly spots, have you?
Most of it's still coming out of the ground, but
My turn ends were terrible this year.
yeah,
Horrible.
yeah, they were. You took it to a new level. Look at that. Looks nice. I'm amazed. When we put it in, I was thinking, well, it's never gonna grow, but maybe Bloomberg has something right. You just slam it in the ground and put some dirt on it, it grows. Filling her up. I believe this truck we can legally haul 89.5 total truck and grain weight versus 97.5. Still a lot. I turned the heater valves off on these, so for whatever reason you got to turn them off in the summer. So it's the antifreeze lines that go to the heater core, so the AC works. All of our trucks are like that. Got to turn them off and on, and it gets inconvenient. But I did that. Truck's loaded, I believe correctly. This truck don't have that weigh scale on it. It needs to get that. That's nice. The guys are really enjoying knowing how to load this truck and knowing what the weight is. No more guessing. It's kind of hard to tell out of the camera on the overhead how much you're putting in. So you get to town and you're 103,000 pounds. But that never happens, you know that. What are you yelling about?
I'm gonna go get this thing stuck. I won't need this for that occasion.
What are you getting it stuck at? Where?
In the lawn.
Merlin will appreciate that. Oh. Do you need the camera for when you get stuck?
If I get stuck, I'll come get it.
Okay. This was a returnable one.
It'll hold more now.
Good night, look at the goober.
Morning, Austin. He's here to fix your sprayer tractor that's been broke down for 4 days.
I hope it works. He's got an ECU.
I hope so.
You know,
Another ECU issue on a tractor with
it's a
72
service.
hours.
It's a service for me.
It's the parts
It only
for
took
me.
him 4 days.
Oh, they've been looking for ECU for 4 days, basically. It broke down on Saturday, I think. It's now Tuesday, and they couldn't find an ECU. It thinks there's no def on the tractor, which there is, and it's shut down for 4 days looking for parts because it was a weekend. They don't ship parts, so luckily it's not the planter tractor. We've got two 8370s. One of them, 0 issues. The other one, nothing but issues. So I don't know. I doubt that it's the issue from the storm damage, but you never know. But we got a lemon. Kind of a dusty little outfit, huh?
What makes you think that? It's just like riding a school bus when I was a kid.
Really awesome.
Getting one with an air conditioner.
Maybe talk about last year when we did this. So it's the Precision Plantings Flag Test Kit, which is actually very interesting to do, to see. Well, we've seen it. You guys didn't see it because I did this last year. So you put a flag down each day that the corn comes out of the ground. So you got 4 days worth of flags. And we did that last year. And then you go before harvest, or before you harvest, you go out and you pick them, put each days in a bucket, and then you can weigh them to see what each day being behind does. Basically, it's a big difference actually. From day 1 out of the ground to day 4 out of the ground. Day 4, the cobs are about half as big as day 1. And why is that? Because the corn gets in competition and the little brother gets beat up by the big brother.
It's like the little runt pig that just doesn't have a very good chance. But
yeah. So basically what we're doing is we're doing a deer closing system versus furrow force. We'll talk about that after we put down day 3's flags. So measured off 17.5 feet. That gives you basically the population of what your corn is at. But furrow force, mostly all up in 2 days. We have 2 3-day flags. Spacing is unbelievable. Very consistent spacing. Over here, you're being crushed. Doug threw a big chunk of dirt on you. So this is deer over here. We got a lot more day 3s, and we're gonna definitely have some day 4s. Over there we might have one day 4. But we gotta wait for tomorrow for that. Day 3 numbers are in. Furrow Forest, 2 of them came up on day 3. 5 came up on deer. On day 1, Furrow Forest had 16 up. Deer had 11 up. On day 2, Furrow Forest had 12 and deer had 10. So that's a total of what? We got to do some math here. So deer has 26 up total on day 3, and Furrow Forest has 30 up. So that also means we have 30,000 seeds per acre planted on Furrow Forest versus 26,000. Well, planted, emerged, whatever.
What was our planted?
I don't know. What did you plant this at? Randy thought 28,000, but obviously it's more than that.
I'd have to look, but
We started dropping our pop really bad once we got later season. Thin them plants out, make them healthier. We'll have to look up what we planted. Obviously, we planted more than 28,000 because there's 30,000 over there, and I think one more is going to come out of the ground tomorrow.
Look at
So here's what Furrow Forest is supposed to eliminate is that open trench right there is a very, very bad thing. Now, do you have anything to say about Furrow Forest of this season?
Well, it's got one issue that's not too good, but all the other things are awesome. It likes
Rocks.
to help
It
pick
likes
rocks for you.
to pick rocks. Very, very bad. Precision, you need to fix the rock issue. Like that seriously is a very bad problem.
I'm rooting for him.
For this year, I'm excited to see as many tough spots as we've gone through this year. That is very encouraging, and I think we are going to see a massive yield difference come harvest. But I thought that last year. We'll see what happens, I guess.
The first year there was yield advantage. Last year wasn't.
But that was because it was so dry.
Yeah.
And the deer closed just fine. It's wet when deer's closing system, and maybe on a newer planter it would be better, but it just...
we should take them over to that special field.
Yeah, we should maybe keep an eye on that one and do another one. Like, we dug the field, got rained on, what, an inch and a half? You went out and sulfured it to open it up again, and then planted into it, and the balls of dirt and open D are unreal.
They had forecasted more rain, and the date said you had got to get that corn in the ground. And I have never planted in conditions like that before.
He almost got the 9RX suck.
It was pluggage. Pluggage. Oh. Say, have you been noticing these boats driving by?
It's on a weekend.
No, you know what that means. The fish are biting.
Yeah.
And that would make sense because when the fish start biting, we were usually always spraying the corn. Well, now this year, everything is so... I'm not going to say the word, but we're still planting, or just finishing planting the corn. So I got to go get my fishing pole.
Oh gosh, yeah, like we got time for that business. Anyways, this is more so information for us to know, but I thought I'd share it with you guys in case any of you guys are interested. I'm sure that anyone in this area, and probably lots of other areas, are having the same issue we're having this year with wet conditions. And other than the rock issue, that is looking like, if they could fix the rock issue, that I'd have that on the whole planter this year.
Yeah, I don't know how they're gonna do it, but they have to.
If you don't have rocks, it would be great. But Big Stone County. The big stones come with little stones, the baby stones.
It's the baby stones that are causing the issue.
Yeah.
Every once in a while there's a special, real weird shaped rock that's a little bit bigger that manages to get in there too, but...
He's actually very calm about it compared to what you were when it was happening.
There was a few times where...
About 2 in the morning? when you couldn't see and you drug it for 4 rounds?
It's best not to remember.
Hang on, we're gonna full send. Why is it bogging? It's bogging.
It's in the mud.
Didn't like full send. I forgot to mention, I know I've said it in the past, but the furrow force test that we did last year, just like that, the flag test, I picked all the ears and had them in the shop, and Grandpa and Grandma thought they needed to be shelled off and were out of a combine or something, and they ground them all up into the same pail, and well, that was frustrating.
You'd have had to been there to appreciate
they were trying to help, and I understand that, so it was hard to be mad, but man, I invested a lot of time in that.
I might have had a little bit to do with it. I told Dad that go ahead, find any pails of corn, because my brother Randy, he likes to do a lot of crop scouting at that time of the year to kind of figure out what kind of average yield we're going to have. So there's a fair amount of 5-gallon pails of corn around. Well, I forgot to tell them, don't take the pails with the flags in, which were tucked away in a nice safe area of the garage. Didn't know they even knew they were there. Well, they found them.
Oh boy, they did. They did a great job harvesting. This is really nice corn here though. This is very nice. This was planted, what, a week earlier, roughly? And it is coming up nice and even.
I've got one field over there, east of us a mile. I had to come back 5 different times to finish it. Each part of the field, too wet, too wet, too wet, so 5 times I visited it and unfolded it. Oh.
I will not brag about efficiency this year. It was the most inefficient. Horrible. The road travel time this year has got to be a new record. Here we go.
Where's that bar?
Shake.
Hang on, guys.
I think that's going to be the end of this video, and I hope I didn't get that too long out there, but it's a lot of information there. A lot of information, a lot of cool information. That's very interesting to me. So, anyways, we will see you in the next video. I appreciate you hanging out and spending time with us. We'll see you next time.